And there we are. We are live on Facebook. Well, welcome everyone to the Remarkable Results Radio Podcast and the Town Hall Academy, the only live aftermarket roundtable that's repurposed as a podcast and a video. Oh, good to have you all here. We have a very interesting subject today, and I'm so happy to have Kevin, Ryan, and Robert with us. We're going to talk about 8 ways to recruit, to fill vacancies, and or to build your team. I mean, I think we're talking as service professionals, the service advisor team, and the technician team, and anyone in the company to come and work for your great company. I'd like to introduce my guest, but first, we all know that Jasper is the reason we're here. They support the Town Hall Academy. So why purchase a Jasper quality remanufactured product? Well, it's their people. A Jasper associate is dedicated to high-quality customer service. They are committed to excellence, very professional. I've worked with them, and has pride of ownership as part of a 100% associate-owned company. Thank you, Jasper. Well, I'd like to introduce, as I think Kevin said, the best of the new and the best of the old, right? I mean, that's an interesting way to start out. But I'll introduce the best of the best, I guess, Kevin Vaught, business development coach for Elite Worldwide and former shop owner.
Yep.
Glad to have you here, Kevin.
Thank
and then
you
Ryan Blair, the CEO of Blair Automotive and a Master Guild Audi technician. Hey, Ryan.
Howdy.
Is that the best of the new, Kevin?
That's the best of the new there,
Got
buddy.
it. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then Robert Sexton, the general manager of First Tire and Automotive, a multi-shop operation in the greater Houston region. And you're not part of the old, are you, Robert?
I tell you what, this cold front coming through down here has got my bones feel like I am. Yeah, I've been doing it quite a while, and I feel like I'm part of the old.
How'd you get through the hurricane? Okay.
We actually fared very well. Thank you for asking. There was a lot of people down here in Houston got hit very hard. Lives changed forever. But our family in our automotive business, we only had a couple of people that got flooded out. It was minor. Our stores fared very well. So we've been very blessed.
Well, good. I'm so glad to hear that. Well, look, we got a great topic, guys, and Kevin, I'm gonna ask you to start this all off for us. Is the technician shortage a great opportunity for us right now to recruit better people?
I tell you, I think it is, Carm. In my opinion, I think that this is a great opportunity. There's no doubt there's a shortage out there. But if you'll do the right things and you'll be actively recruiting instead of passively recruiting, there's a lot of opportunities out there.
And I think the whole, the encompassing umbrella to what we're going to talk about today is what you just said, actively recruiting.
Absolutely. You got to be actively recruiting. The days of putting an ad in the paper and having 15 applicants come into your shop, those days are gone.
Years ago, people always told me when I went to seminars, they said, Carm, you've got to build a bench. Carm, you got to build a bench. And that's really in the purest of essence is you have to be able to go to the agent of the ball player and say, hey, I know we've been chatting. I got an opening. Let's talk. And you get that from having resumes and discussions and dinners and lunches and friendships.
Right. We call it building a pipeline. And, you got to build a pipeline. You got to network and build a pipeline of people that are contacts, not necessarily people you're going to hire today. Remember, there's a big difference between recruiting and hiring. You should be recruiting every single day.
Every day.
That doesn't mean you're hiring every day. You're just building that network. You're building that pipeline.
So the day that it comes, you are not shuddering in your shoes saying, oh my God, I'm going to have to go back to the Bay and I'm going to be shorthanded for how long? You really almost have the workings of a plan almost ready.
Well, and I think that's the key, Carm. In my opinion, you got to have recruiting takes you need a goal and you need a plan. I mean, I believe that with everything, but it's very important with recruiting. And we spend an awful lot of time recruiting customers through marketing and advertising. And we don't spend quite as much time recruiting people.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, I loved one of your talking points. I just love it. And it's find out what's important to your own people and then build on that. I mean, go for me. Tell me why that's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're recruiting somebody or anybody, the way that you are going to interact with them and the way that you're going to approach certain aspects of the recruitment is really going to depend on what's important to them. And we all know, I mean, you can make it easy and kind of split it between kind of two. You've got your younger, hungry guys, and with them, I'm going to be promoting, hey, here's this opportunity. Here's how we're going to support you and grow you in your career. And then we have the guys that are established. They've got families. Those guys care about stability. They care about benefits. They care about their family and how they're going to be supported, and they want to be protected. And so you can kind of change your entire approach to your recruitment based on the kind of people that you're trying to recruit. And I've noticed that that's been massively effective for me in recruiting the employees that we have here.
Are you ever wowed by an employee saying to you, I just love our health plan, or I love this and I love that. And you say, well, I've worked hard, but I've never really known the kind of impact that it had on my people.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that, coming from the dealership, I had the benefits, but you don't really appreciate them until you're providing them for people. And you also don't really appreciate them until you're leaving the safety net at the dealership. And a lot of times, if you're trying to recruit somebody that's, a top tier dealership employee, you've got to have that safety net that the dealership has in providing all of those same benefits. And they're extremely grateful, insurance reimbursement, workman's comp, all of the same things that they've come to expect in their careers.
So an employee comes to you and says, I love this, whatever this is. Do you ever say in the back of your mind, I've got to do more of this?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking to, increase benefits as we grow, as we can afford more. And
even morale, right? Even morale. Yeah. I mean, people come to work at places because they find out it's fun, great culture, good morale.
Yeah,
that gets out.
The atmosphere. One of the things that we do is in Texas, baseball's big, as Robert knows right now, but opening day at the ballpark for the Rangers is a huge day. And instead of having half my guys call in sick, we just all go out to the ball game. We set up one of our tents. We close the shop for a day. We have a good time, and there's little things like that. Those are the things that people see as they're following you, and as they see, your employees will be posting about it, and they'll be excited. And that's the kind of atmosphere that people want to come and work for.
Ryan, how could you close your place? Now I say that
I want to know the same thing as a coach.
No, I say that with my tongue firmly planted in my cheek, because I know guys that take their whole crew to Vision, and they'll take them to Apex. And there are some people saying that can't be done. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things that you have to look at the big picture, and I think that the morale and the way that your employees feel about the way that they're bought in on your vision, they're going to be working really hard for you every day that you're open. And when you can provide them, a treat like that to make them feel good, and it makes everybody feel good, and everybody's having a good time. It also builds camaraderie and friendships, and I find that people are even more productive when we come back. I have never had a week where we were closed for a fun day that ended up being a worse financial week.
Got it. You got to plan for it, right? Do it and plan for it. And okay, so you work harder the next day. I bet you everybody works harder the next day. You're darn right. 150% productivity or whatever. Robert, glad you've been so patient with us. Hosting training at your shop, it's one of your great ideas. Tell me about it.
Absolutely, Cam. First, I'd like to touch on something with Ryan. They closed for opening day of the Rangers. I think we may have to close for the week if the Astros won the World Series. That's never happened before.
Wow.
That's the big one.
Yeah, I know. Good for you guys down there.
Kevin, you think Craig would go for that?
No.
I'm on board. I don't think he would. Oh, well.
All right. So, okay, you can't close for a week. Okay.
as far as the hosting the training, it's something we've done a couple of times, and we're looking at doing it more and more. One of the things that I feel like that does for you is in line with building your pipeline, you need contacts, you need to meet people. If you host your training there, what are you doing? You're bringing in people into your business that are interested in improving themselves, be it in technicians or service advisors or whatever it is. And you're not only doing that, but it gives you a chance to showcase your shop. Your shop has to be the kind of place people want to come work at. In order for that to work, you have to have the proper modern equipment and nice, clean facility. But when the technicians come in and see you doing this, they know that you're a leader in your industry in terms of staying on top of the technology and supporting their careers. And that's what I feel like the true superstars in this industry are looking for. Somebody that can support them in advancing their career as far as they can go.
It's almost like an open house.
Yeah, like open house. There's going to be you meet a lot of people, and it may not be the people you meet there that are the ones that are in your pipeline, but birds of a feather flock together. So you tend to get names from names of people. It's an ongoing thing.
I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with Patrick McHugh, and he had an open house or an art show, some really great things that he does for recruitment. And he made sure that he invited some technicians from some of the area shops to stop by. And because it was all in this guise, if you will, of an art show. He's a BMW specialty shop, right? And he goes into the bays because his people were there, and a couple of these techs from dealerships and other places in the area, one of them said, "That's going to be my bay."
That's
and
interesting.
within 2 weeks, the guy was working there.
That's good.
So yeah, I mean, that's a great tactic that if you're going to do an open house, a women's clinic, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing for the open to the public, get the word out. And one of you guys mentioned, contact the customers. And I can't remember which one it was. I've got all my notes here in front of me. Who wants to take that?
I'll take it. I've had several clients. I think it wasn't my talking points, but I've had several clients that have hired, especially advisors, not so much technicians, but especially advisors have hired them because they've asked their good customers, "Hey, you know anyone looking?" Because who knows your business besides yourself and your employees any better than a good customer that's been a repeat customer. And I had a client out in California in the desert that has hired 2 advisors that way, just from asking their existing customers.
Kevin, just to add to that, one thing that I've learned doing this and seems to work much better is if you ask people, do you know anybody looking for a job? Their first answer is going to be no. You ask them, hey, who do you know that's really a superstar? Who do you know that's great at doing whatever specific thing you're looking for? Or has this great personality, outgoing personality if you're looking for a service advisor, or somebody that's very technical and wants to improve themselves or get a better job, better opportunity. But if you just ask for somebody looking for jobs, the first answer I get from everybody is, no, nobody looking.
And that's such a great point, because it was you, Kevin, who said you can't put the word help wanted anywhere around looking for a job. It really needs to say, hey, we're looking for good people. I mean, just like you said, Robert, it doesn't start with I'm looking for help. I'm looking for superstars.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. So, Robert, Kevin, we talked a little bit ago about looking at all these old applications. Do you have any disciplines on what needs to happen? Say, for example, I interviewed someone 3 or 4 months ago. Do I take that application and throw it in a drawer, in a file? Do I catalog it? What do I do with it so that I could find it next time?
Well, I think there's, first of all, there's certain state laws you got to abide by first. That being said,
Right.
We always kept 2 or 3 files, and we called them A, B, and C file. And so the A people we threw in the A file, the B people, the ones that we consider we threw in the B file, and so on. And then, like I said, what happens is you may not, you may be looking for an A tech, and today that applicant may be a B tech, but 12 months from now, 24 months from now, he may, he's got 22 years more experience, and so that's why I recommend going back and looking at previous applications.
That's a great point. If the guy's worth anything, he's doing perpetual training, and he's growing, and he's getting better. So,
Absolutely.
Ryan, have you ever picked up the phone and called an applicant from a little while ago and found out what they were up to?
Yeah, I mean, I like to keep up to date with everybody in my recruitment pipeline, and there may be people that I've interviewed, or less formal, uh, but they're growing. They're like plants, right? And I'm not having to pay for the watering or the sunlight or anything. The dealerships are, or wherever they're working, they're getting their training and they're growing. And I love to keep up with them, make sure, check in with them, offer a little bit of mentorship as well. That way they're getting something out of the relationship while I can kind of keep tabs on them. And somebody that graduates top of their class and gets into, a BMW dealership, it's still going to take years for them to get to where they can really be established and on their own in an independent environment. So, this is the long game. I might be looking 3, 4, 5 years waiting for these technicians to really and advisors to really solidify in their environment, and absolutely, I keep up with them on a regular basis.
Why would they come to work for you?
So they want to come to work for us, mainly from the dealership. The key selling points are a lot less red tape, a lot less micromanagement, and the environments in dealerships. It's a very top down. It's a very daily meetings.
Okay, there's a bigger grind. There's layers. And is the
Yes.
dealership the only place you're recruiting from?
I tend to recruit mostly from the dealership because of the type of facility that we have and the type of shop that we have. It really does require specified knowledge, years and years of specified knowledge. Now, we do have some apprentices that we're bringing up in the advisor position and in the technician position that don't have as much dealership experience. But when we're looking at established positions that require 5 to 10 years of experience, we're almost exclusively recruiting from the dealerships.
Got it. Okay. Reputation of a shop, Robert. I guess no one's going to come and work for you if you don't have a good reputation.
Absolutely. Your best people, your best superstars, they take pride in what they do. They want to be the best. They want to work with the best. They're not going to come to a shop that doesn't have a good reputation, it's not equipped properly, and where they can't excel in their career and reach the top level. So you have to maintain that. You have to maintain your reputation within your community, your customers, as well as your reputation within the industry in terms of through other shops. So that's one of the things that keeps a constant vigilance. We're constantly monitoring our online reputation, just like I know everybody is, and you have to, as well as trying to constantly network with other shops and keep a good rapport and relationship with other shops. That trickles down through all the employees. So, and it also helps you, again, networking and meeting new people.
You said a lot of really great things there, and I've got to talk to you about that shop networking, and that is, to me, an extreme important piece of being a good recruiter.
I agree 100%. I think one of the worst things you can do as a shop owner, not only for your business, but for the industry in general, is to badmouth other shops or talk bad about other people in the industry. Obviously we've all seen, been in this business long enough, we've all seen bad businesses, bad shops. They're out there. We know that. But most of the people in this industry are good shop owners wanting to run a reputable business, trying to do a good job. What you have to do is build a good network within your industry of shop owners helping each other, not beating each other up. It'll help us in the industry. It'll help us in your networking and in your recruiting.
I really want to have a town hall academy just on that subject. In fact, we were ranting about it in the private Facebook group, and there's some guys that are on both sides of the fence on that, and glad to hear what you had to say.
It never ceases to amaze me. bemoan the fact that we have a bad reputation as an industry, a black mark as an industry, but yet we talk bad about each other. I see it all the time. You talk to shop owners and they'll beat up another shop down the road. I prefer not to do that. I prefer not to. If somebody that I feel like is not performing to the level of the proper industry standards, to me, it's kind of like they're a vacant spot. I don't acknowledge them. They're not part of my industry. I don't want them to be part of my industry. But most of the shops, they're just business people trying to make a success for themselves. And if you work with them and keep a good reputation, have a good relationship with the other shop owners in the area, you're going to find that you're going to meet a lot of people. We had a very good instance just recently. Everybody knows how hard it is to hire an L1 technician. Well, we recently opened a new location, and we wanted a top-tier technician. I was able to hire an L1 master tech in fairly short order because we had a local shop in the area that for years and years and years operated with a good relationship with us. He ran a good business. He had a very successful business. And he had two really good technicians in there, superb technicians, and out of mutual respect, obviously, we're not going to recruit from each other. Just not going to do it. He recently kind of got tired in the industry and wanted to move on to other opportunities and sold his business. And he sold his business to basically an investment company, a guy that owns multiple different types of businesses in the area. And I saw the opportunity then. I knew that I could offer a better opportunity to this one L1 technician, had a relationship already built with him, called him up, said I would talk to him, and guess what? He was ready to come on board. He knew things were changing. He wanted to make a change. And we had a good reputation with him already because he knew us from the relationship we built with that shop.
You never know when those networking and relationship opportunities are going to go bam. You just never know. That's why you need to invest in them.
That was one of our biggest fears of opening another location, was getting the proper people in. Had many conversations with Kevin's about that, getting the right manager in place, getting the right technicians in place. And
you just brought up a great point. A couple of guys that I've interviewed that are MSOs, multi-shop owners, they talk about seeding their current company, knowing that they're going to open a store, and they start hiring and having duplicate staff so that you're teaching culture and training. And then when that store is finally open, you transfer the people. Have you ever done it like that?
We did bring in people before that store actually opened and started training. We started a few years ago, much like Ryan has done, a apprentice program to try and groom some of that. We've had mixed results with that, but the bottom line is you're going to take your lumps and learn along the way. We have hired and brought in some people and trained them and brought them up through the ranks, and had a couple that have stayed and stuck and starting to work out. And one of them is at that new location right now with an opportunity. He's a like E-level tech that's going to have an opportunity to become an A-level tech, and he shows the ambition, right attitude, aptitude to do it. So it's working out well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, here's another reason to choose Jasper. It's their commitment to continuous improvement. Their investment in research and development, product updates, and remanufacturing processes means Jasper provides the perfect product. Well, it wouldn't be a decent Town Hall Academy on our great subject of recruiting to fill vacancies and to build our team if we didn't talk about the method to do it. Ryan, since I heard you are Facebook pro, obviously you get all that stuff. Tell me your methods of using social media to recruit.
Absolutely. I think that Facebook in particular, but also Instagram now, are huge platforms for interacting with everybody. And that includes, obviously your clients, but also all of your potential recruits. What I like to do is I like to have everybody that I'm interested in following my personal Facebook page and following my business Facebook page, because that gives them two things. It gives them access to see what kind of a business we are, the things that we're doing, how much fun we're having, but then it also allows them to see what kind of a person I am. And that speaks a lot to people when they're trying to decide, who do I want to work for? Is this the kind of person I want to work for? But one of the great benefits to that as well is when they're following you, you can be following them. You can see if they get a new pet, or, if they're thinking about making a life change or moving somewhere, buying a new car or selling a car. I mean, these are all things that can be great conversation starters when you're wanting to catch up with them, talk to them, and interact with them as time goes on. So I think that it's a fantastic platform and an opportunity for everybody to be able to just interact with potential employees. And it's all about transparency. I mean, that's the word that everybody's using today. It's the same with our clients as it is with our potential recruits. And people want to work for a place that's transparent. They want to know what are the nuts and bolts and the everything behind everything. And that's what makes them feel comfortable and safe.
Let's compare some millennials, Gen X's to boomers. Transparency really important to the younger person?
I would say so, yes. I mean, one of the things that, especially now as the younger, even younger than me, guys are starting to come into my business. It's more and more important that they know what's going on, that they have kind of the big picture, and that they know that they're a part of it. They want to know what the why is. And if the explanation isn't good enough, then they might come up with their own, and that might be better than the one that I have, and we encourage that. But they're very involved in the ownership of the business. And that's really what you want from your employees or your potential recruits.
So if you're looking for young people and you don't have a purpose and you can't explain your why, you're going to ask them, why are you leaving? God, I want to hire you, and be prepared for the answer.
Absolutely. It's very important.
Wow. So Kevin, do we have to put some money in a recruitment process? Do we have to invest in it or not?
I believe so, Carm. And I got to tell you, the reason I believe that is that, we spend tens of thousands of dollars marketing to our external customers, marketing for business. But really, one's no good without the other. You could have a line of customers around the building. If you don't have a staff to help them, you don't have a business. You could have a shop full of great staff, but if you don't have customers, you're out of business. So I think they're equally as important. And again, it goes back to having a goal and a plan. I think it's got to be part of your marketing plan. You need to dedicate resources to recruiting. Now that doesn't necessarily mean equal amounts of money, but it does mean time.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Time is money. But I think of signing bonuses. I think of stuff like that. Is that where you're talking about putting money?
Well, I'm not a big fan of signing bonuses. And the reason for that, I'm a big fan of bounties, giving good bounties. The reason I don't like signing bonuses is because now you're alienating the other people in the shop.
No, I get that. Maybe it was a poor choice of words, but thanks for clearing that up. I love that.
But what I'm talking about more importantly is I think you've got to do some marketing, whether it be putting money in Facebook marketing to technicians, or whether, I think it takes both. But mainly the resource involved in recruiting, in my opinion, is time. You've got to dedicate time every single week to recruiting. But in that being said, I do think that you should also, there's one way of doing that, Carm. I have a lot of my clients that they put out a direct mail piece, for example. Well, they'll put a starburst at the top corner that says, always looking for superstars, or we're growing, we're expanding, looking for superstars. So you're kind of hitting both worlds right there, recruiting and marketing to the customer at the same time.
I heard Bob Cooper speak, and he's just, and that impressed me. Superstars, it impressed me. That seems to be elite's just drive for good people.
That's it. You can't survive without great people, and great people in the right spot. You can't survive with it. So that's what we do. We're always looking for superstars, right, fellas? That's the way we're looking. Always for superstars.
That's what you drive to. And has that philosophy, strategy been successful, Robert, Ryan?
It has. It has been successful. We've been very blessed to be able to keep our shops full. But if you have a moment's pause, anything distracts you from your constant vigilance on it, it reflects. One of the things that we're talking with Kevin about is we opened our fourth location, and my attention from the recruiting got diverted. and I've kind of been off pace on it, and it's reflecting. I'm having to work double hard to, as Kevin would say, refill my pipeline. I need to, and I haven't been focused on that. So now I find myself trying to get involved in all kinds of things. I'll go to technician seminars and sit down and take a bunch of business cards, just sit there and talk to people, pass out business cards.
Can I add to that a little bit? And I think that marketing or recruiting is very similar to marketing to customers, again, in that what you do today pays off 3 or 4 months from now. You're not going to get instant results, and that's what makes people stop. Just like when they put an advertising out, oh, it didn't work. Well, how do you know? I tried it once. You've got what you do today starts paying off 3 or 4 months from now, in my opinion. Robert, that's where you're at right now, right?
You're 100% right. I agree. And what ends up happening is, we fill up our boat, if you will, with the fish, and we quit fishing. We're like, we're here, and then before you know it, the fish are gone, and you're like, oh crap, I need to go fishing again. So I'm definitely very active again in my recruiting and working very hard, not because we're dying for new people right now, but I know with the growth we've had and the new store opening and it growing, we're going to need more people in the 6 months, 8 months from now. And
you're doing a lot of smart stuff, Robert. It is just one of those things that a person in your position must do. And if it's not on a daily basis, it needs to be every other day. Like you said, you don't pay attention to something and it all of a sudden weeds grow.
I give Kevin a lot of credit. He's the one that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that this is something that I can't do it once in a while. I need to dedicate a certain number of hours every day to doing this, or if it's just an hour every day, and then so many hours a week, and keep the phones working.
That's a great takeaway for everyone in the audience, that this is a perpetual duty, recruiting.
And and Carmen, I tell my clients all the time, how bad do you want it? If you can whine about a shortage of technicians, but get off your hind end and go out and find them. Work at it.
We still whine about it.
I know.
How bad do you want it? That's like show me the money. It's the same principle, right? How bad do you want it?
That's right. How bad do you want it?
You're right. You want to bitch about? Excuse me, I didn't say that. Do you want to complain about it, or you can do something about it?
Carm, I just had a real quick example. I had a client one time. I says, you might offer this particular person a $4,000 bounty, not a hiring bonus, a bounty. He said, oh my goodness, I would never spend that kind of money. I said, let's see here. You're going to offer someone a $3,000 hiring bonus. You've already told me this. You're losing $5,000 a week in business being short a technician, and you're not willing to give $4,000 bounty to someone? I mean, that's $400 a month, $300 a month. Why wouldn't you do that over a 12-month period?
And then the silence comes over, and then the pure logic of the thought starts seeping out, and they say, God, Kevin, you're right.
That's pretty much the way it went.
Ryan ever used the bounty?
Hasn't had to.
No, Ryan hasn't ever used it. Okay. Good for you, because you've got it figured out.
No, not exactly, but I think that that's something that we would definitely look into. And I have a friend, for example, right now that has a shop out in California, and great culture, great shop. They take snow days, powder days, go snowboarding and skiing, and I've seen a lot of his recruitment efforts, and a lot of them involve asking for bounties. And so for sure, I'm always keeping an eye out. And so my recruitment list, then becomes an opportunity, hey, if somebody, happens to be located in California or someone that wants to relocate, I'm definitely keeping an eye out for him. Not only because he's a cool guy and a good friend, but also because, hey, there's an incentive there. And so if that works for me, it's absolutely going to work for other people in my industry.
Ryan, talk to me about grassroots, parents, students, speaking at Voc schools.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 4 years ago, I started speaking at Universal Technical Institute twice a year to incoming students and their teachers. And part of that is giving back, since I'm a graduate of Universal Technical Institute, kind of, my opportunity to get these kids and the parents excited about a career in this field. There's a ton of opportunity. And if you look at my career that I've had, it's just a great example and just one of the many examples that can be given. But one of the benefits to this is we're 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road. And this is just an opportunity to grow potential relationships. And not only is it good to have a relationship with a school that can provide potential recruits. If you look at the top 1%, you can say whatever you want about Universal Technical Institute, but if you look at the top 1% of the kids coming out of that program, those are the kinds of people that you're going to be interested in. Those are going to be the 1% anywhere they go. And so, I have developed several relationships with potential recruits that I've met through those speaking engagements, either as other speakers that are there that have also been successful grads, or even as people that saw me when they were, the first time at UTI 3-4 years ago, and now they're a technician at Mercedes, and they remember and they come up to me and they say, you fired me up, you told me about, 6-figure salaries and all this and that, and got them fired up and got them motivated through the program. And a lot of these people I also bring under my wing into a mentorship program where, I just reach out, or if they have questions, even while they're at school, about things to do, ways to do things, advice on different things. And that's just more and more people to be in my recruitment pipeline. Plus, it feels good to give back and to help and to tell your story. And you never feel better about yourself or your business than when you're talking about it in front of a lot of people.
I was going to ask you that question, and thank you for answering you almost read my mind. Have you ever had a chance to hire an individual through the efforts you've made by speaking?
Yeah, absolutely. There are 2 or 3 very, very strong recruits that I'm actively talking to,
Okay.
and the potential's very high that they may not be quite ready yet, but I'm fairly confident that I will get several really strong superstars out of these speaking engagements. And it's an hour of effort twice a year, on a Saturday. It's not a lot of effort to have a relatively large impact in the long run.
Good for you. Good for you. So we're hiring people, Robert, and we make mistakes along the way. Sure, everyone on this screen here has hired a ton of people, fired a ton of people, and made mistakes along the way, and you learn from it. Robert, you've got to really know the kind of personality you're looking to hire. And if you do, how do you formulate, how do you find what you're looking for?
Well, I agree with that. Before you go out and get something, you have to know what you're looking for. So you have to sit down and identify your personality characteristics you're looking for in any particular position. What's most important to you? The way we isolate those things is using a couple of different methods. We although what Ryan does is talking to his people, what's important to them. Well, we talk to our people and see what personality characteristics in them are the best and what works already. And we want to match that. We want to jive with that. We have signed on with a group that was referred to us by the Elite company called Burke Assessment Group that does a personality profile test, and found that gives us good insights. One tool in the step that gives us some, if you will, some points to look at when we're interviewing people to try and find those personality traits and find the ones where they may be weak and the ones where they may be strong, and see how they will fit within our culture of doing business. And then during the interview process, it's up to you to vet that and weed out the ones that are not going to fit within your profile, because you're not doing them a favor or yourself a favor when you hire the wrong person.
When you hire the wrong person, you a lot of times you get a team fire. Did you ever hear of that?
Yes.
Boss, you made a mistake. It's either him or us.
Yes. Well, and Kevin pointed out something to me a long time ago that has stuck with me, that, when you have somebody that's the wrong person, they're not working out for you, and you're unhappy with them, chances are they're unhappy there too.
Yeah.
You're actually doing them a favor by releasing them to pursue other opportunities where they can be happy. They're not happy here. They need to find their where they are happy. They're zen, and it's not at your store, then somewhere else. So we try to, find the right fit. First, identify what we're looking for, so when we go out, we can find the right fit, and we don't have to go through that process.
Right.
Very important to know what you're looking for before you start going out looking, or you're going to end up just hiring whoever, the first person that comes in.
Agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a huge fit, and I'm lucky to have a team that interacts and works so well together. And we just went through a huge expansion, doubled the size of our staff, and I had a lot of nerves about the old Blair staff and how they're going to interact with the new Blair staff, and everybody ended up getting along great. Because we were looking for the types of people, that we had, a similar personality, similar interaction, and everybody ended up able to work really well together.
Excellent. Okay, Ryan, I loved one of your talking points about your business plan and sharing it with your people. And would you ever share that with a recruit?
Absolutely. I have a version of my business plan for every recruit that I'm talking to, and it has their employee bio in our business plan as if they were an employee of Blair Automotive. And typically what I like to do is, early on in the recruiting process, when things get more serious, take them out to lunch or a meal, and give them a physical copy of this business plan. And this does so many things for you. First, it allows them to see that you have the wherewithal to have a business plan, and that you have a plan, and that you are going somewhere, and they can learn a lot more about your culture, about who you are, by what they see in the plan. And obviously it's more of that transparency that we're talking about earlier. And then they get to the part where they see themselves in the plan, and they feel valued. They feel like, man, I could really be a part of this, and they get an idea of your vision and what that's going to look like, and they can see themselves. A lot of times this is about creating the imagery, the vision of what their life is going to look like as an employee at your shop or in your business. And then it's just really neat that they have something that they can get excited about. They'll show this to, their mom, their friends, their wife, everybody that is within earshot, that they just think it's going to be so cool. And so that's just something that has been really huge for us. And I'm sure a lot of my employees that will be watching this can attest to the fact that I did this for every single one of them, where they very, very clearly saw their position and where they were going to be and how they were going to fit in to what we were doing and the way that we're moving forward as a company.
Do your employees know that they're part of the recruitment process?
Absolutely. And some of my best employees were recruited by my best employees. And it's just, they see the way that they are and how happy they are, or maybe their quality of life or the environment that they're in, and they're just excited about their job, and so they talk about it to their friends, and superstars attract other superstars. And we got one of my new superstar advisors brought on a superstar that's in training, Amber, but she's started off doing phones and emails and just, but she has so much potential. And so we're already training her for the advisor position, and she's going to knock them dead, and she's already great. And this is someone that we got from another employee. And so it grows on itself. And same thing for our apprentice out in the shop. He was actually apprenticing with one of the technicians that I brought on in my expansion, and was doing really well. And so we already knew it was going to be a good fit, and he's been working out great.
So my question to both of you, Ryan, Robert, and you, Kevin, you got business cards with you at all times. So when you bump into a person that's giving you exceptional customer service, that's a people person, does the recruitment start at the restaurant or the home improvement store that you're at?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You never know where you're going to find the right person.
I got to tell you, Carmen, in our philosophy of lead is that you always look for attitude, aptitude, and ethics. That's where you start, especially in an advisor position. Maybe not so much in tech, but in advisor position, we can train them the business. You can't train someone to genuinely connect with people.
Yeah,
that's a talent or a skill that's within them. You can't train that. So to your point, yes, I encourage my clients all the time. You see someone that's giving superb service, I don't care whether they're in the industry or not, give them a business card, see if they might want to talk to you.
same with you, Ryan. You got a great example?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have a specific example, but I do know that I'm always keeping my eyes out, and anybody that totally knocks my socks off, absolutely, those are the people that I want to add into my recruitment pipeline.
Great. Hey, everyone, a family keeps their vehicle an average of 11 years. Where's the first place to turn when the drivetrain fails? Why, Jasper, of course. A vehicle is a major purchase, and it should be trusted to a 100% associate-owned company for quality remanufactured products. Thank you, Jasper Engines and Transmissions, for their support. Hey, look, guys, we have covered every one of your talking points and even more. We covered more than 8 incredible pointers for filling vacancies, recruiting your team. Thank you to Ryan Blair, Robert Sexton, and Kevin Vaught. I'm going to give you your last word. Anything that maybe we didn't cover, or any great final words of wisdom you'd love to share to your peers in the industry. And Kevin, I'll give you the last word. Robert, I'll give you the first one.
Thank you, Cam. Thanks for having me on. And Ryan, you've given me a lot of good insights, things I can work on. I appreciate it.
This happens all the time. The people that come on the show, they take their own notes. They learn from the other people that are on. They write me and they say, "Oh, I'm so glad I was on. I paid so much attention. I learned from the other." And this is going on, repeating, to repurpose this. So thank you for saying that, Robert.
It has re-energized me and refocused me and got me ready to get off the phone so I can start making some phone calls.
Good for you.
My biggest thing I can say is constant vigilance. So always stay focused on it. Write it down. If it's something that one of the things I'm really working on is I'm more of a less of a write down person, more got it in my head, and I'm trying to change that. If it's not written down, it ain't going to happen. So I'm working on writing it down, put a plan in place, write it down. I've created a spreadsheet that I keep all my contacts in. I go date back 4 years ago, and I just go through that spreadsheet and keep adding and make notes off to the side, and I go back and we'll go back to that and call back to see how they're doing and what's going on. I need to grow it a little more, so I'm going to be working on that in the coming weeks.
Thank you for being so transparent. Ryan, go ahead next.
Yeah. One last point I say, since we do a lot of our recruiting from the dealership, the next time you're ordering parts from, BMW, Audi, and you're talking to your parts guy, those guys really have their ears to the ground. Just ask them, who's your superstar advisors over there? Who are your superstar technicians? And you'd be amazed. They give you a lot of good information, and those are people that you can look for at your next, next events or your next social opportunities, and get them added into your pipeline. And we've had a lot of success with that, and also just kind of keeping up with the industry. So that and to just remember that this is the long game, and that the superstars of the future are they're out there, and they may not be ready yet, but you can start recruiting them now. And
they may not necessarily be ready for your business, but
Absolutely.
They will someday. They may not be ready yet to the point that you need them inside. But I guess one of the things that my takeaway from you, Ryan, if I was thinking hard about it, is that you recruit from the dealer hard, and that's impressive, because that you are a dealer alternative. Lock, stock, and barrel, man. We is. That's who we. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that piece, that just because it's a big name on the door doesn't mean there's a lot of job security over there.
Right. Yeah, and it's just amazing to see how much more important a quality of life is to people than than making, the difference between making 120K a year or 90K a year. They may be a lot happier making 90K a year and believing in something and having more balance in their life. So just because these dealer guys make a ton of money, don't just immediately dismiss them. You would be amazed at how they would be willing to take a pay cut for a better life. And obviously there's opportunity in the future, but absolutely keep that in mind.
Very, very, very wise, intuitive. Thank you so much. Kevin, you have the last word.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I'm a very proud coach today. These two gentlemen here have made me very proud. But more importantly, I think the most important thing, Carm, is that they have to, if nothing else, schedule an hour a day. If you can schedule an hour a day, think about that. That's 250 hours a year that you're dedicating to recruiting. Just one simple hour a day. And maybe they can't do that today. Maybe they can do an hour every other day. But schedule time to dedicate to recruiting. Come up with a plan. I'm going to have 15 people in my pipeline by December 31st, for example. Come up with a plan and work it, stick with it. I promise it works. And I do believe it. I do believe it's a great opportunity for us. I do believe that.
Yeah, many of the tactics to do that hour were mentioned in this Academy episode. I mean, if you go back and listen, we'll put all the talking points. There will be more than 8 ways to recruit. And if you just look at that, copy that off the website when it comes out on Wednesday, and bingo, there's your, that's what you need to do. Pick one and do it. Pick one the next day and do it, and do them over and over and over again. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Hey, the only live aftermarket roundtable that's repurposed as a podcast right here, Town Hall Academy Live. Thank you so much, Kevin Vaught, Ryan Blair, and Robert Sexton for being with me today.
Thank you, Carm. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.